everyone, I'm Michelle from A Common Life, and many of you have been watching my series on sensory processing disorder. This was a series that was started with my friend Tanya from Project Happy Home. She has been sharing about ADHD, and I have been sharing about sensory processing disorder and how we basically function and handle that within our family. I'm going to be answering some questions that you guys have left me in the comments, so please stay tuned. Since starting this video series, I have been getting a lot of questions online, and so I have just been compiling all of them in one place so that I could answer them for all of you at the same time. Now, I'm just going to go through and answer these questions, and if you have any more questions for me, please don't hesitate to put those in the comment section below. Now, for us, we had it diagnosed two different ways. Once with one of our older children, he was diagnosed by a psychologist, and then our younger child, he was diagnosed by an occupational therapist along with the help of his pediatrician. Now, I don't know your situation, but the first place to start is always with your pediatrician. So talk with your pediatrician about it first. As you probably know, we are a homeschooling family, and honestly, one of the reasons that we started homeschooling was because of my oldest son's sensory processing disorder. And so we were able to bring him home and homeschool him at home and kind of create a somewhat calmer, quieter environment. When you're homeschooling, you are able to kind of like separate your child if they need some one-on-one time or if they need some alone time to work. We also do a lot of work on the computer, and so they're able to put headphones on and listen to quiet music while they're doing their computer work. For our younger child, he, a lot of times what he needs is kind of just to sit on my lap and for me to help calm him down. As far as curriculum is concerned, honestly, it doesn't affect my curriculum at all. We still choose the same curriculum. All of our kids use the same math programs. They've used the same writing, reading programs. We've obviously tweaked and changed things along the way. But I haven't found that I need anything specific because my children have sensory processing disorders. It's more about how you approach the schoolwork. You need to make sure it's a calm, comfortable environment. So we do like weighted lap pads, comfortable chairs. We did yoga balls for a long time. We had them sitting on yoga balls because that was just a little bit of stimuli and also more comfortable for them than a hard chair. Sometimes our children will just sit on the couch or a comfortable chair and do their work. Another thing that really helps is for you try to keep the house quiet, which for us is hard because we have 5 children, and so our house is never really very quiet at all. But if you can kind of divide them up a little bit and make sure that they're getting the quiet time when they need it to be able to do their work, that really does help. In our family, a lot of the things that we do end up revolving around these children with special needs because we can't do everything like everyone else. Sometimes we will split up, and my husband or I will take some kids one place and the other kids stay home or do a different thing, and that does work, but we always have to consider the things that are best for those children to make sure that we are not overwhelming them or, putting them in a situation that's going to cause meltdowns or panic attacks or things like that. So whenever we are doing something, we definitely have to consider those children. And obviously we do consider our other children's needs as well. I mean, that wouldn't be fair. So if there is something that one of them really wants to do, for example, when we were on vacation recently, there was something that my daughter really wanted to do that was just not going to be a good environment for our other children. And so just the two of us went and did it. So we definitely do not exclude them or, leave them out from things that they want to do. We just have to make sure that we are meeting the needs of all of our different children so that they are all able to have, a happy and as calm life as possible. I am sure that has definitely been the case, and I know that sometimes we have made mistakes because there are certain times where maybe I thought it was a child was having a meltdown when they were actually just having a temper tantrum. A meltdown is definitely not the same thing as a temper tantrum, that's for sure. A meltdown is something that they really do not have control over, and it kind of takes over them. Whereas a temper tantrum, they are completely in control of that. So I know that in the past, I've definitely made that mistake, and I have definitely kind of let them get away with things just because I wasn't sure and I was still learning my child. And my other children who didn't have a sensory processing disorder probably were, I was probably a little bit harder on them right away than I was with my children who have a sensory processing disorder. So that may be considered coddling. I do understand that. It makes sense. I mean, this is what you have to realize. If you have a child with a sensory processing disorder, more than likely the way that they behave is erratic. It can be very erratic. And so sometimes they can just be defiant and naughty and throwing a temper tantrum. And then other times those similar behaviors are actually them struggling, feeling anxiety, feeling overwhelmed, beginning to have a meltdown or a panic attack, and it is very, very difficult to tell the difference. And so sometimes the coddling, as it may appear, is actually you just kind of trying to figure out what is going on with your child and determining whether or not it is a situation where you need to be disciplining your child or a situation where you need to be kind of providing them a safe environment and helping them get through a tough time. So it's a very, very fine line, and I know that I have definitely crossed it either side of the line, both ways at different times. And I mean, no parent is perfect, and so I'm certainly far from perfect. I make mistakes all the time, and so, you know, I would always err on the side of coddling than being too hard on a child. I just would. That is just how I am. And I don't let my kids walk all over me. I really don't. But especially when you have children with, you know, special needs or sensory processing disorder or whatever it may be, I don't know. I just always feel like erring on the side of gentleness and love rather than, you know, immediate discipline is the right way to go. Okay, so that's a really great question, and that is just going to depend on your child and your family. Honestly, I don't have a better answer than that. If you do have a child with, you know, speech delays or developmental delays, I would definitely say that you should go ahead and get them therapy if you're able to do so. Those are things that will continue to, you know, affect your child and keep them further delayed down the road. So I would definitely go ahead and do that. Both of our boys were in speech therapy. Both of them were in occupational therapy. They're not right now, although one of them will hopefully be getting occupational therapy again soon. And we choose to do that because we feel that he really needs it. He struggles. He is very overwhelmed by life in general, and he needs coping mechanisms. And this is not something that I am educated in. Anything that I have learned, I have read in books or read online or, you know, heard from other parents with similar children, and they've given tips and tricks. But I'm not a professional. I don't know how to do it the right way or how to really help give my children these coping mechanisms that they really do need. And so if your child, if you really do feel like they need occupational therapy or speech therapy or anything like that, go ahead and seek help. That is my best advice to you. It is beautiful and wonderful and difficult and trying and amazing and just so many different things. My children see the world differently a lot of the time. My son hears things and smells things and sees things that I completely miss. And so it's a different world that they live in, and that's amazing. And it is something that we can all learn from as well. We shouldn't just, you know, isolate them and just because they're oversensitive, kind of ignore the things that they're saying. You should be in tune with your children and, you know, support them when they're struggling and be there to listen to them when they want to talk to you about, you know, something going on that you are completely missing. These things are important to them, and you need to try to make them important to you as well. I'm sorry if this video is a little bit long. If you do have any more questions, I am here for you. I will answer all the questions that I can. But as I've said earlier, you know, everything is going to be specific to your family and your child. And so just because it works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you. If you think your child has a sensory processing disorder or any other thing that is, you know, out of the norm that you think is something that you need to talk to your doctor about, please do that. Don't wait. Just make the phone call today, make an appointment, and go talk to your child's pediatrician. Thank you so much for watching this series of videos. Now, I think this will probably be the last one, unless I get a lot more comments with questions, and if I do, I will go ahead and answer those in a later video. If you enjoyed this video, please click that like button, and don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see more videos about living life with children with special needs, homeschool, large family life, and motherhood.